We have a little noise disturbance in the background over there pouring the noodles.
11:11, make a wish.
I wish that you would shut the hell up and let me play this guitar.
And also keep in mind, this is the core, so basically nothing gets cut.
I've never been on the core, so I didn't know that.
I've been on the core.
Welcome, Dylan, to the core, episode number 4. We are at the apartment. We are on our couch. Our
Give me scoot over.
sectional.
There we go. Flipping 4th string. This is live.
The camera is on.
This is live.
The camera is on. Welcome to the core, episode number 4, everybody. Thank you so much for being here today. Thank you so much for being here today. Welcome back to AWTV. This is our talk show named The Core Talk Show. Go ahead and like this video and subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the entire channel of AWTV because we have vlogs.
Not just half the channel. Whole channel.
The whole channel. The whole channel. We have vlogs, challenges, talk shows.
And vegan food.
That video was a disaster.
It was. Go check it out.
I
now.
won, but it was still a disaster.
What we're going to be talking about today is we're going to start off with some big things in the news, some major topics that have been going on, and then towards the end of the video, Dylan had this great idea where Dylan and I are both going to be naming and describing our top 5 most influential albums of our life and why, also the top songs off those albums, and the top album of our life.
I'm very excited.
It's going to be very fun.
So, I thought about what I wanted to say about this, and honestly, I didn't write any of this down, so this is partly just from my mind. There's no other thing on this earth that can do what music can do. It doesn't matter if you're happy, or you're sad, or you're angry, or you're just however you're feeling, you can go to any genre. You can find any band, any artist, any whatever. You can find a song or an album or whatever, and you can literally find a person or a group of people who have felt the exact same thing that you are feeling, and there is no other force on the planet, in my mind, that is able to do that other than music. So that's why music is so big for me, even though I am just now starting to play it. I've always listened to it. I've always sung it. What are you doing?
Massage my shoulders.
That's going to be... See, I agree with Dylan a lot, but I also differ in a lot of ways. Because, I mean, it will be described with my first album, my number 1 influential album of my life. It will be described later why I'm different from Dylan with that. One of the biggest things we like to do here at the core is talk about some news, talk about some big things that are happening in the news. We like to give our opinions strongly on things.
She loves to give her opinions just
every day
about anything.
Definitely in the first episode you saw a lot of this.
Because she's a woman.
And in the second episode you saw a little bit.
International Women's Day. Women's Day.
Women's Day.
Women's Day. Women's Day.
Do men get a day? That's what I'm
Y'all
talking
get a day every single day.
Actually,
for being a privileged
we're
white
gonna talk
man.
about that first.
Good. Let's go.
No, not yet. Hold up. Let me introduce it.
Hurry up! I'm already getting fired up.
In the first episode, you saw a lot of the opinions drawn out very clearly here. Second episode, a little bit. Third episode was the talk with Tina Conrad. That was a great video. But now we are on episode number 4. We're gonna kick back up the core topics of in the news today. I just went on my news app, and a couple big things. Today is international. Today is International Women's Day. Since you are the woman of the house, I would like you to describe to us what.
So she's the what of the house?
Woman. What is International Women's Day and why is it important?
It is important to celebrate women because women are not celebrated as much as their male counterparts. It's important to celebrate the contributions that women have made to the country, to society, to the world, where they're usually not celebrated because it's usually the men that are celebrated. And on top of that, it's usually white men. And there's not a lot of women that are celebrated for their things that they do. And there's definitely not a lot of minority women. And also, no one would be anywhere without a woman. So, goodbye.
No one would be anywhere without a man also, though.
I could make that exact argument and say no one would be anywhere without a man because no one would exist without a man and a woman.
Yeah,
so
but
they both play parts
your
to the
mama
process.
Woman,
yes,
boy, girl.
But your mama gave birth to you.
Yeah.
But without the
Yes,
man,
she
there'd be
did.
nothing. There'd be no
without
birth.
my dad.
Fact.
I feel like we just completely threw away the whole International Women's Day conversation. Now we're on something completely different.
So see, this is why it's important to have a day to recognize women because people always, and I'm not saying it's just YouTube, people always try to not degrade women, yes, but also people always try to make everything about men, and so they say men did this, men did that. Okay. Yes, but also you have to think about why men are doing all these things because women aren't given the opportunity. Yeah. Still to this day, women make 80 cents to the dollar, to every dollar that a man makes. Okay? That's not fair.
There's an inside joke about that we will not talk about ever
There's
again.
an inside joke to that, but we will never say it out loud in front of Hannah. Or really to anyone.
That's going to die in our minds.
Yes,
say it off camera.
No.
That's not gonna
there's no off camera. Life is.
We live on camera.
We live on camera.
Well, anyways, yes. So women deserve to be celebrated. Women deserve their day when every other day is International Men's Day because men get all the credit for everything.
What were you gonna say?
What do you have to say?
I will. I will second that for the most part.
Oh,
I mean, women do, I feel like, get kind of thrown under the rug, is that the right phrase?
Brushed under the rug.
Brushed under the rug a little bit for things they do. I mean, women are amazing. They do a lot for our country and for everything, really. I feel like you said men are kind of always prized as the people who are celebrated.
Yes, they are.
I mean, I kind of want to disagree with that, but I also kind of don't want to disagree with that because, I mean, men also do a lot of things as well.
I said that. I said men do a lot of things, but
it's important to celebrate.
But women do a lot of things also, and you don't hear about women doing things.
Just like my mom. Shut up.
Yeah. Why can't we just celebrate everyone? Everyone of all ages.
You mean genders, sexes?
No, I mean from a 2-year-old to a 102-year-old. Everybody is doing awesome things every day.
Not a 1-year-old though.
And I fit not a 1-year-old, sure.
Sorry, Ava.
Dang.
But I feel like it's why, yeah, it's true that there are groups who are not given the same opportunities to be successful and to be showcased publicly as other groups are. But that doesn't mean that the groups who are showcased are doing something better than those other people. It's if Hannah as a woman, I can't really play this thing well at all. But if she could, then am I going to be if I have a concert and I play 3 songs mediocrely and she has a concert and plays 20 songs amazingly, who's going to get the better recognition? Hopefully her, because she is better. But am I it's just I feel like everyone should be celebrated for something. And that's not trying to say, because I hate participation trophies. That's stupid. If you don't accomplish something, you shouldn't get rewarded for doing the basic thing. It's this is not related at all, but it's like in the NFL or something when they want to get paid more for like making an extra tackle, like, okay, great, we're already paying you millions of dollars to go out there and do that. It's like you shouldn't be celebrated for, I don't really know where I'm trying to go.
Doing the bare minimum.
Doing the bare minimum. Like, everyone is doing things every day that need to be celebrated. But because of the way that our society works, everyone and all of those accomplishments are not as equally celebrated as they should be.
I'm going to say something,
Okay.
and you can cut it out if it gets out of hand.
Okay.
But literally what you just said made me think about, like, the Black Lives Matter movement versus the All Lives Matter movement. And hear me out when I say this, because, you know, we're sitting here and I'm saying women deserve to be celebrated, and you're countering that. And I mean, I'm not saying that you're saying that women don't deserve, but I'm just saying that your argument is that everyone deserves to be celebrated, and that's the same exact thing. Black people are saying our lives matter too. Don't take it away, like, you know, unnecessarily. But then all these other people are coming in and saying, well, everyone's life matters, not just black people, blah, blah, blah. And that's literally what that made me think of. So there we are. Boom.
Okay, so I completely disagree, but I'm going to end this conversation. Actually, no, I'm not going to end this conversation because
Completely disagree with what?
the example that you just gave has nothing to do with what I just said.
No, I'm not saying it has anything to do with it. I'm saying that it's like the same thing. Because I'm saying that one group of people...
I'm not saying that this has anything to do with this. I'm just saying it's the same thing.
No, I'm not saying it's the same... it's not the same ideology. Well, I guess it would be the same ideology, but a different concept, I think. Because both of these ideas are, you have one group of people who are oppressed saying, I matter too. And then you have everyone else who's not in the oppressed group saying, we all matter. And it's the same exact thing.
So I think that I could have articulated what I was trying to say a little bit better. What I'm trying to say is that tomorrow, when we wake up, it's not going to be International Women's Day anymore. However, women are still going to be doing amazing things that need to be celebrated. So what I'm trying to say is that amazing things that need to be celebrated are happening every day. But if we only celebrate them during International Women's Day, or, you know, a day that is set, or whatever that is set aside for people of whatever group, then, you know, when it's not that time and not that day of the month or week or whatever, the year, whatever, then it's like, oh, well, we can't pay attention to that because it's not International Women's Day anymore. What I'm trying to say is, like, things should be celebrated because they're awesome and because they benefit the culture and the society, not because, you know, this happened on International Women's Day, so we have to celebrate it. It's like, we should just celebrate it.
Yeah, that's why I think all these holidays are fake anyways. I mean, I'm really glad we have International Women's Day, because at least one day of the year, women can get the recognition they deserve for the fantastic things they do, besides everything that they do on a day-to-day basis that goes uncelebrated. But okay.
Sorry, that was pretty cool.
I feel like it's like...
Celebrate that. I think that was pretty cool.
So, I see both of your points, but also, I want to say that... What do I want to say? That's a great question. What do I want to say?
Yeah, tread lightly, honey.
Let me tread lightly. let me not get canceled again.
When did you get canceled?
What was the... I don't know. The other night we were talking about something.
Oh, I canceled you probably.
Oh, because I was cheating in the waffle challenge.
Oh, yeah.
Which I'm still mad about, because I've watched that video several times, and I'm still mad about the fact that he loaded my waffle with, like,
Look, son, live in the future, not the past.
with so many chips and like 2 spoonfuls of salsa, and he put like 3 chips on his. But that's okay.
Women belong in all the places decisions are being made.
All right.
Okay, so here's what I'm gonna say.
That's my beautiful baby queen.
You said you think all these small holidays are stupid, but you're glad we celebrate National Women's Day. Off topic.
No,
do you think that St. Patrick's Day is stupid?
Yes, I think every holiday is stupid.
So, based off that, are you still glad we celebrate St. Patrick's Day, or are you just saying you're glad we celebrate International Women's Day because it's one day of the year that is pointing towards women.
No.
But what do we do on National Women's Day that helps us to recognize that? Like St. Patrick's Day, we wear green stuff. We go to bars and drink Guinness. Or like on Valentine's Day, we get flowers and candies and do some other stuff. But like on National Women's Day, what do we do to celebrate that? Like, or what can we do to celebrate that?
Well, let me say that I didn't say that I'm glad we celebrate National Women's Day.
You said those exact words. I will play it back.
Anyways, I mean, I'm really glad we have International Women's Day because
Yeah,
I said I'm glad we have it.
Okay, well,
what is the difference between having it and celebrating?
We will see what word she uses.
I'm glad we have International Women's Day because I'm glad that there is a day that we are going above and beyond. No, well, not going above and beyond. We're going half a centimeter above the bare minimum to recognize women when the rest of the year usually not recognized. What was the point of your question again?
What can we do to celebrate it? Like St. Patrick's Day is wearing green. Valentine's Day is buying flowers. What is special about women, honey? Okay.
We will be here all day. But my thing
I didn't mean it that way.
Well, so you said Valentine's Day. That's a good example. I don't like all of these fake holidays, like these Hallmark holidays, because I feel like they don't provide anything. And Valentine's Day especially, I don't care. Valentine's Day is the dumbest holiday of the entire year. Because why? And I think the same thing about Mother's Day and Father's Day. They're dumb. Why should there be one day of the year where I appreciate my significant other or I appreciate my mother or my father figure, whether they actually are my mother or father? Why should there only be one day a year where you celebrate that? Why shouldn't you not celebrate that every single day?
That's exactly what I said.
I know, but listen. But the first time, when you said that the second time, the first time you did not say that. But it's fine. But I'm saying I appreciate the fact that we have these holidays because at least, on like, so Mother's Day, for example, even if, even if I do appreciate my mom throughout the whole year, which she might watch this, so shout out my mother.
Shout out Carolyn.
Yeah, shout out the queen.
She's great.
If I do appreciate her every day, which I do, let me just say that before she comes on here and beats me.
Also, you're welcome here.
Yeah. So,
but
I'm not going to say that. That's not going to make it into the video if I say that.
If I appreciate my mom every day, I'm glad that there is a day where we are all recognizing them a little bit more. So I am appreciative of these days, but I still think they're stupid, regardless of the fact. So to answer your question of what can we do to recognize women, I think just continuing what we're doing, because I don't think there's really ever going to be a time when people are like appreciating women for what they do every single day. Because when it's International Women's Day, all these pages are posting, oh, let's appreciate these great women. And then it's whoever they're posting. And it's like, okay, that's great. But what about all these other women that did things throughout the year? Or even those women, like what's the other things that they did throughout the year? You don't hear about them until that one day. But I'm glad we have these days to appreciate these people a little extra.
Let me ask one more question.
Yes.
Can I say something real quick?
Okay.
So, to say that celebrating International Women's Day is the same thing as celebrating St. Patrick's Day is like not correct.
Yeah.
Because when you're celebrating International Women's Day, you're going out of your way to celebrate a group of people who typically are not as celebrated as another group of people. You're not celebrating St. Patrick. You're going out to a bar and getting drunk with a green shirt on. That's not the same thing.
Okay. I mean like any small holiday that isn't like Christmas, Thanksgiving, Halloween.
So a Hallmark holiday.
Sure.
But even like Halloween and Thanksgiving aren't the same. Like International Women's Day is not a holiday. Like it's not a holiday.
It should be.
I'm not saying like Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, Easter are holidays.
Halloween is not a holiday.
Okay, well, whatever. It basically is.
So
International Women's Day is not a holiday. It's like I don't know, but it's not a holiday.
It's just a day.
Okay.
It's like a national day, but it's not a holiday.
So why do we feel that men are celebrated more than women?
Because they are.
No, wait. Is that the media's fault? When you hear about all these men, where do you hear about all these men at? On the news?
No, it's not the media's fault.
This man built a rocket and flew into space.
No, well, it is the media's fault, one. But two, it's also just society's fault because we live in a society where it's built to keep men on top and women are meant to be inferior. That's how society's built. It's harder for women to move up in positions. It's easier for men to move up in positions, and it's harder for women. Like I said earlier with the joke that y'all don't want to tell me, women make 80 cents to the dollar for men. So it's like, stop and tell me the joke or stop laughing. Listen to what I'm saying. It is harder to be a woman than it is to be a man. And I don't expect y'all to understand that because you're not a woman. But it is so much harder to be a woman in this country than it is to be a man. Let me rephrase. It is a lot harder to be... I can't speak for everyone. It is a lot harder to be a white woman than it is to be a white man. It's easier to be a white woman than it is to be a minority woman, obviously. But I don't want to get dragged through the dirt, so I'm going to rephrase myself. Because I don't know what it's like to be a black man. I don't know if it's easier to be a white woman than be a black man. It is harder to be me than it is harder for you to be you.
What? Also, we could make this entire video just on this subject right now.
Yeah, we could.
Because I'm going down a rabbit hole where I could spend the next hour talking about this.
Let's go in. Let's go in. And then y'all talk about your guitar thing and make it a new video.
I might have to make that video 5.
Okay, go in. Let's go, sis.
I don't really have anything else to say.
Oh, I do. Let's keep it going.
I think I'm going to stop there.
Yeah.
Just because...
Because you're defeated. You know I'm correct.
I mean, I know you're correct, but I want to know. I want to find the reasoning.
Oh, that was ugly.
Behind why women are still. Let me make sure this is in parentheses, lower class than men. In parentheses again, because I'm pretty sure this entire couch feels that women and men are equal, but society thinks that women are down here compared to men up here. Correct?
Oh, you're saying...
I'm trying to figure out... I'm trying to get out why that is.
Are you saying that we think that we should be equal? Are you saying... do I feel like I should be equal to you in society? That's what you're saying?
All three of us, I'm pretty sure, feel that men and women are equal.
Well, we're not equal.
Okay, but
I think we should be, is what you're trying to say.
But in our minds, we're equal. Dylan and I don't think of ourselves as a higher rank of than you.
Again, you're saying that we think women and men should be equal in society.
I want to say should be, but I don't want it to sound like
it won't.
We know we're higher, but we think that you should be on our level. I'm saying that we all think.
Well, without looking
at the 80 cent to dollar statistics, we all think that we are equal. We all are equal in our minds. Like, I look at you, I'm like, I don't think... oh, Hannah just walked in my door. She's 80 cents to the dollar of me. I don't think that way. I think this is a human being.
Well, I don't think what you're saying is that we should... I think what you are saying is that we should be equal. But you don't want to phrase it that way. But I think and you said you were afraid of making that
I don't think that.
Yeah, because you don't. But listen,
we should be because we're already equal.
Listen,
but
Linda.
If we say, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm saying, just because you say that, and just because you're scared to make that claim, that
doesn't mean it's not true.
Yes, but also my thing is that, sitting here. You saying that you acknowledging that you are higher, I don't think that no, I know, listen.
Hold up.
Listen, hear me out, let me finish what I'm saying.
Okay.
I don't think that you acknowledging that men are higher in society than women is an issue. I get what you're saying is that you think, let me finish before you start talking. I get what you're saying.
I'm just here for the music, honestly.
I get what you're saying, that you think that everyone's equal. I get that.
Yes.
And I understand why you're having like reservations about saying that you think people should be equal versus saying they are equal. But what I'm saying is that you should be saying you think people should be equal, and that's just you. But that's not you saying that women are less of a person or lower class than you. I think that's you acknowledging the fact that there is that disparity and there is that that gender inequality gap there, rather than you saying that you think you are higher than anyone else.
I believe that's what I'm saying, yes. I'm pretty sure, yes.
Okay, so yes.
That's what I'm saying.
So you should say, this is what I'm saying, you should say, rather than saying we are equal, because to me, hearing a man say, me and you are equal, is more offensive than him saying, I think we should be equal. Because if you're telling me that we are equal, to me, or at least to me, in the way that I'm thinking, like, okay, great, I appreciate you telling me that you think I'm equal with you, but to me, that seems like a cop-out almost, because it's like the man is telling me that he doesn't recognize that there's a gap. He doesn't recognize that in society, I'm not equal to him.
Okay, I think.
Okay, wait. Okay, so.
No, I need to continue.
No, you don't.
The reason we're disagreeing is because it's different genders seeing their different ways.
I have such a good example.
But it's your point of perspective, and so if I say we should be equal, that is automatically putting myself above you because I know we are above you. But because I'm saying we should be, but we're not. So in my mind, that's saying we're here, you're here.
Yeah.
But I'm saying we are because in my mind, we are equal. So I don't want to say we should, because if I say we should, then I'm automatically thinking we're not equal.
So what if you changed your saying to be we should be equal, but I realize that we're not? That would be better. Because then you're saying, and to you, in your mind,
we are equal, but I realize that we're not.
I think
that is correct.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
We are equal, but I believe that I don't think we are.
That would be a better statement for you to say than either we should be equal or we are equal. To put them both in one and say, in my mind, we are equal, but I recognize that we are not.
Dylan's turn.
Okay. I have two very quick things to say that are going to take less than 5 minutes combined.
Jesus, that's a long time.
Okay,
the first 3. Okay, 3 minutes combined.
Make it 1.
Anyway, you guys your time.
Go for it.
So Austin,
yes.
We're both really hungry.
Okay.
We both order the same exact meal at Chick-fil-A.
Okay.
But I'm going to take your whole sandwich with my sandwich. I'm going to take 90% of your fries. And then I'm going to say it's okay because we're equal. Because we're both, we're equal. Second thing.
Sir, what?
Second thing, y'all just let that marinate. Second thing is.
I didn't get that, but okay.
That is a bad analogy. Honey.
If you say, oh, well, we should be equal. Okay, that's great. So go out and do something about it to make it equal. You can't just sit back and say, oh, well, I think that we should be equal. I mean, that's better than saying, yes, we are equal, knowing cognitively that we aren't, but saying, oh, yeah, well, like, both of you work at the same exact place. I don't know how much you get paid. I don't care. But it's like, it's a thing where...
Better care when that rent payment is due.
It's a thing where, yes, it is true that women get paid less for doing the same exact thing than men do. Okay, that's great, and that's true, and it's not great. Forget that I said that. But it's like, if you go out and you say, well, yes, but I, as a man who gets paid the full price of my work, think that we should be equal. Okay, great. So make it equal. There isn't some robotic force out in the world who works behind the curtain and makes women get paid less for the same job. Those are all humans who make that happen. So saying that, well, we should be equal. Okay, great, I agree. So make it happen. You're welcome.
Bravo. Tell it, the white men in power, make it freaking happen. But they won't.
They won't.
Because then that means less wealth for them. and they always.
I don't even think it's a wealth thing. I think it's just.
I was getting there and saying that they always need to feel superior.
I don't even think it's that.
No,
I think it is
that.
I think it's just a laziness.
No, it's not laziness. They want to feel superior.
So you think
I could pop off. We will be here all freaking week.
It's been like 30 minutes just about this one topic.
It has been.
Well, I don't care. We could continue on.
But the reason I think that Dylan and I are differing from you on that
is because I'm a woman.
It's because we're men. Yeah.
Yes.
No, the women.
Which sounds horrible.
Insert
with
clip
what we
here
just
of
said.
the SpongeBob movie where they sing about being men.
Yes. But I feel like it's true though.
It is. Here's what helps me get over, because in my like schooling and everything, I go through we have to talk about a lot of different things. We talk about a lot of institutional racism and systematic racism and things that I very obviously, as a white person or lighter skinned person, I should say, do not experience versus my darker skinned counterparts. And it's like the best way for me to like put myself in other people's shoes is to ask people that are in those shoes to explain it to me. And then don't try to make don't try to make myself fit into it, because it's impossible. You will never know what it's like to be a woman. I will never know what it's like to be a black person. I will never know what it's like to be a man. I will never know what it's like to be all these things, because I'm not. And people, I think it's kind of not. I don't think it's right for people to say, I know what that's like, because you don't, And especially when it comes to stuff like that, I don't think it's right for people to say like, oh, I know what that's like. I know what this is. I know what's that like. Because you don't know. You will never know what it's like to be a woman. You will never know what it's like to be a woman. I will never know what it's like to be a man. So, I don't know where I was going with this. But my point is that, of course you guys are going to have differing opinions, because you have no idea what it's like to be a woman. Just like I have no idea what it's like to be a man. So I would have no idea what it's like to actually receive the full payment for the work that I'm doing versus receiving 8/10 of that for the work that I'm doing.
You're absolutely correct.
Yes, I know.
I second that. I think that nobody will know what it's like to be in anybody else's shoes, because, you're just not that other person. You're just not that other race.
But in a way,
Gender.
that feeling of being unable to truly understand someone else's feelings and emotions goes beyond race and gender and all these other things that as humans we have created. Like, I can experience something, and Hannah could experience the exact same thing. Like, I could take a bite of pizza from the same place with the same toppings, and so could she, sitting right beside me, and it won't be the same thing.
Nope.
And so when I say, wow, this is a great piece of pizza, I know that yours is just as good because I'm eating the same exact thing. Like, but it's not. Because my mind isn't wired like hers.
So you're getting into, like, feeling and personality.
Yes.
And
I, as a Pisces / Aries. That's a whole other discussion that we've
found Aries.
I, as
Pisces.
As the Avatar, have... Yes. I don't know what that was. That was pretty cool, though. That's what it was. Okay. Anyway, can we move on from this topic?
Alright, yeah, I think we hit some good points. Alright, so basically we got a little snack here. We finished talking about this topic a little bit. We have a lot more to talk about this. We're also going to talk about the big coronavirus going around, but this video is going to be 10 hours long, so we're going to cut that to episode number 5 of the core, which will be filmed probably very soon. But now we're going to get to the main part of this video, what we've all been waiting for.
Thank God. As I said earlier, music is cool, it's awesome, whatever. I proposed to him a couple of days ago that we should choose the 5 most influential albums that have been created and put out of any, it doesn't matter, time period, genre, whatever, and most influential albums to us for a reason that we would like to talk about. It doesn't matter if these aren't popular albums or artists or whatever. It doesn't matter what decade they're from, what genre they're from. If they have influenced us in some way, then they can be put on the list. And we had to pick 5 of these, and then we had to choose one song from each of the 5 albums and make that song be like, this is my most influential song on my most influential albums. We're not ranking these at all. I don't think we're ranking these at all. Or are we?
We are picking our number 1 album.
Okay. Okay, I didn't know that. But I wrote some notes down about each album and about each song on the album that I'm definitely going to need to refer back to.
We're going to say back and forth, but our top one will be the last reviewed album, most influential album in our lives.
Okay, so my number 5 is a band that I have liked for some time, since about senior-ish year of high school, maybe a little bit before that. But I've seen them in concert twice. I'm going to go see them again whenever they tour again. But band is Panic at the Disco. And my favorite album of them is not anywhere near their most popular album, but it is their 3rd studio album. It is called Vices and Virtues. The reason why I love this album, the main reason, is that a little bit of backstory on them. This is their 3rd album. They have 6 total. They released their first 2 albums as a band, like 5 people. When this album came out, it was the drummer and the lead singer, Brendan Urie, created this whole album on their own because all the other band members, for whatever reason, got mad and left for whatever reason. And so 2 people wrote, produced, every instrument on this album is 2 people. It's just a drummer and a singer, and the singer does like everything else as well. But I just think it's really cool that 2 people made an album, and they didn't win any awards or anything. I think they got nominated for like a Grammy or something, but they didn't win anything. But that's not important. What's important is that 2 people made an entire album. You don't really see that a whole lot. Even with like singers and songwriters. Can I help you?
No, sir.
I told you that I'm going to go on and on about this. Okay, so I just think it's really cool. Another reason why I love this album is because I knew that it existed before I got to college. Like freshman year of college is when I really got into this album and into this band. And I just love when albums tell a complete story. Like there's a plot in the album. So like the first song all the way to the last song, I can go in and I can track like what is happening to a character or to something, and it's like a story from top to bottom. And this album does that, and it does it beautifully, and that's another reason why I really like it. My favorite song from this album, kind of cliche, but it's one of the only good songs that is like mainstream-ish on the album. It's called The Ballad of Mona Lisa. It's the first song on the album. I just like it because it's just cool. It just grooves. I don't know. The music video is really cool. Seeing it live is really cool. It's like the first song that I heard from this album, and I was like, hey, if the other songs sound like this, then I'm in for a good time. And I was. So that is mine. That is 5th on my list. Even though we're not supposed to rank them, that is 5th on my list.
So I actually literally just made a change to my list. I'm not going to put my changed one in first. One of my top 5 albums, not my number 1, but one of my top 5, I'm going to go with Kenny Chesney, The Big Revival. One of his albums he put out, I believe it was 2014 it was released. I wasn't really a big Kenny Chesney fan at that point. I mean, I loved some of his songs, but I didn't really follow him that much. But I found this song back in, I believe it was 2017. It was just an album I found. I was going through Kenny Chesney songs and albums and stuff, and I came across this album, and pretty much every single song on this album is just amazing. And mine aren't going to be as detailed as Dylan's because I don't really know that much backstory on albums and stuff like that, but it's just a really great album. I mean, there's so many like upbeat songs to it. It flows very nicely too. Just like the flow of it. Kenny Chesney has a lot of like beach themed songs. You know, like having a good time. You know, like living life in fast forward. One of my favorite songs from that album is Save It for a Rainy Day, because honestly it's just a bop. I mean, Save It for a Rainy Day, it's basically you're just getting over getting over a heartbreak, but you're not thinking about that. Whenever you save for a rainy day, if it's sunny out, nice outside, you're gonna go have some fun. And you're gonna be with your boys and your girl. So she's not my girl, but you're gonna be with your friends.
She's one of the bros. It's okay.
She's gonna be with your friends.
She's for the squad.
And if you're watching this, which you're not, I'm so sorry.
And you're not gonna think about what's going on bad in your day. Basically, your entire anything can go bad. It doesn't even have to be a breakup, but you're gonna save that thing for a rainy day because you're not gonna let that thing ruin the day in the present time that you're in right now. So that's one of my top albums, and my top song from that album.
Let's go to a little bit of a rewind.
Okay.
Junior year of high school.
Dude, that was the craziest year of our lives.
That was the wildest. I have graduated from college.
Holy crap.
I did some crazy things in college, but junior year of high school is unmatched.
Let me just say, my top album comes from junior year of high school.
This next one comes from junior year of high school. I think this is from junior year. So, basically, what happened with this album... Actually, I'm not going to tell that story. No, we don't have time for that. There's no way that I can... Even though I'm not as big of a fan now as I was of him, there's no way that I can make a top 5 influential albums list for my life and not include Drake somewhere on that list. So, my favorite Drake album is Nothing Was the Same.
Yes!
It is the greatest Drake album.
Yes.
It's a very, what's his first one? Take Care is a very close second, but it's still not better than Nothing Was the Same.
Take Care, I can't. Take Care is, emo
so
hours.
Nothing Was the Same is the one where it's like clouds and it's his face like this on it. That album came out junior year of high school, and honestly, I only listened to country and that was pretty much it. And then I just listened to this album and I was like, wow, this is great. And we don't have time for this story. I kind of wish we did. But this album is when you think of Drake and you think of this is going to sound so dumb.
Oh, God.
And you think of
Money in the Grave.
No. Money in the Grave does not have a clean version, as Mr. Tolley found out very unfortunately.
Kaylee, if you're watching.
When you think of Drake, you think of emotions, and that's why this album is on my list. That can be a whole nother core episode, honestly, that we don't have time for. But this album is great, top to bottom. All the features on it are top notch, especially the one with 2 Chainz in it, because 2 Chainz is just awesome anyway. Whatever. But the best song on this album is Tuscan Leather. It is the first song on the album because the sample of the Whitney Houston song that I'm forgetting the name of, that he went in the studio and he just chopped it all up into pieces, and he changes the beat on this song 3 times, and it's just phenomenal. The lyrics are not that great for Drake, but I'm not in it for the lyrics. I'm in it for how it sounds, honestly. And song is beautiful top to bottom, whether you're listening to the radio or on your headphones or whatever. It sounds beautiful. It is beautiful. And I don't know, it's this is gonna sound weird, but it's the first track, the first beat of the song is part of your life, and then it's it switches and it's part 2, and then it switches again and it's part 3. It's just phenomenal. So that's my second album, Nothing Was the Same. Me personally, I cannot have Drake off of my top 5 most influential albums list.
He was a big Drake fan.
I was a big Drake fan for reasons that we can't get into on public television.
But I'm going to get into that.
Okay.
Soon. My next album I'm gonna put on here. This is the one I just added 20 minutes ago. Now this isn't really necessarily an album, but whenever I tell the backstory to it, you'll get it. Michael Jackson, Number Ones. So it's not an album, but it's just his number 1 songs all together. So
that's an album. They released it as an album.
It is an album. It's released as an album, but it doesn't.
It's greatest hits.
Yes, basically.
Okay.
So the reason I chose that on my list is because I was never a Michael Jackson fan, to be honest with you. Never was. I mean, I never really listened to his music. But whenever he died, the whole world kind of went in shock and started playing his music, just like me. I remember, after he died, my parents and I bought a Michael Jackson CD because we were planning on going to see him in concert the same year he died. But unfortunately, obviously, we did not get to. But we got that album, and I listened to that thing hundreds of times.
How old were you when that happened?
I was, I think, like 10, 11, 12,
Yeah, I was in
something like
fifth
that.
grade.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was I feel like it was a big, I don't want to say a big part of my life, but like it impacted me in a way where like, just like the magnitude of somebody's success and like me not realizing it, kind of like Kobe Bryant. Like I didn't really realize his success until he passed away, but now that I see like the things that these people have done, like Michael Jackson and Kobe Bryant in their life.
This
but
is
like,
why we have a Women's Day. Recognize them
Okay.
while they're alive.
well, anyways, I want to put that on my list because I feel like that impacted me in a big way, to be able to celebrate, not really celebrate these people because, I mean, celebrate them, but really, really recognize the art that especially Michael Jackson had that not many people, actually a ton of people knew about. But after he passed away, it was obviously like the biggest thing. One of the songs I want to put as my top song on this album is "Rock with You," because honestly, that song is a freaking banger,
A freaking
and
bop.
I have a clear memory of that song being played. All right, let me set the scene. I am on my
Do
way.
you want to?
My mom is driving.
Okay, yeah,
we are
we're
driving.
good.
We are driving past Giant. I am eating corn puffs in a purple bowl with milk, and I am listening to "Rock with You." I have this
What?
clear memory of listening to this song, eating corn puffs on my way to wherever I was going.
I mean, I have memories
And,
of Drake's songs,
like,
but
Like it's just so clear, like it happened today. Like it could have been today that happened.
damn.
But
damn.
like it just impacted me and inspired me to. I mean, I don't know, but I had to put that on this list. So that is one of my top.
All right, now we're into my top three. Now, I want to make this very clear. I would put any of these as my number one. The one that I picked, in my mind, I had to decide upon my number one today. I could not pick a number one of these three. But Austin told me that I had to pick a number one. So today, I did a lot of research. I watched a lot of videos on all three of these albums. I listened to them in their entirety all over again. And I did pick a number one. And I did rank the other three also. So number three for me is a combination of two albums, only because the first album only has 5 songs on it, and the second one is a full-length album. So I'm just putting them both in there. So the band is Greta Van Fleet. The two albums are, do I know this from memory? Into the Fires, or is it From the Fires? From the Fires, I think. One of those two. And Anthem of the Peaceful Army. The reason why this is on my list is this actually has a story to it. So, I am a teacher, and last semester I taught a group of 10th graders, and this one guy was just one of the best kids in the class, and this was one of his favorite bands, or still is, because he's still alive. So, this is one of his favorite bands. He had seen them so many times, even though they're like brand new. He had seen them so many times. He had been to so many of their concerts. He had so much like merch, and he would wear some kind of band shirt of them at least once a week. And so I would talk to him about it. This is when I was just getting into starting to play this, and I would talk to him about it, and he would be like, you know, you really need to listen to these guys. They're really cool, whatever. And so on Thanksgiving break, I was driving somewhere, I don't even remember, and I was tired of the music that I had been listening to like forever. And so I was like, you know, this kid's really cool. If he likes this music, I'm probably going to like this music. And so I just went to their profile on Apple Music, and I just hit the play button, which just like shuffles everything that they've put out. And the first song that played was a song from their like 5-song album called Edge of Darkness, but I'm going to get into why that's my number one song of them. And I was like, wow, this is beautiful. And if you don't know who these guys are, they're from Michigan. It's a group of, I think, 3 brothers and one of their friends. 3 brothers and one of their friends or something. And they have been compared to Led Zeppelin a lot in a negative way. But my feeling is that I wasn't alive for Led Zeppelin. Led Zeppelin was like...
This is like your Led Zeppelin.
In like,
You weren't alive, so
it's in like the 70s.
Austin said I couldn't be mean.
And so this is like And the people who like this band like them for that reason, because they sound like them, and because a lot of people, like their fans, are my age, and they weren't alive for that era, so now they're getting to feel it now. So that's why I love this band. They're great. They're all like less than 20 years old, which is phenomenal. I wish that I had half of the ability to play the guitar the way that any of them do. They're like 17 years old. It's great. But yeah. Favorite song on both of those albums is called Edge of Darkness. It's really cool because it's like rockish, but again, they like switch the beat so many times on that song that it like kind of blends different genres together. And I honestly don't know what the meaning of the song is, but to me, I wrote down what I think the meaning of the song is. It's about like, just from the chorus, it's about like, you know, there's a lot of hate and there's a lot of just trouble in the world, but you know, you could jump into that and you could become that, or you could stand on like the edge of it and you could look at it and you could still choose to not be a part of it. And I feel like there isn't enough of those choices being made to see something bad and not just want to jump into it because it's popular. That's my number 3. Combination of their first album and their second album, but overall, the band itself. Greta Van Fleet, go check them out. They're great. Form your own opinion of them. Don't let these stupid music critics just... There's too much hate going on in the world. You don't need to hate a band just because you don't like their music. It's stupid. So go listen to them, check them out, form your own opinion. That's my number 3.
All right, number 3 of my most influential albums. I'm going to say this one, I don't really feel like it influenced me much, but it's my favorite artist, and he really set the bar. I feel like he set the bar really high on this album. Every song is just so great. I will get to that in a second. But
when he edits this, he's going to zoom in on me rolling my eyes right now.
But it is Luke Bryan, Kill the Lights album.
Now here it goes.
Dylan is not a big fan of this album.
You'll find out why on my number 2.
Okay. But honestly, Luke Bryan, my favorite. I'm just going to leave it at that. But this Kill the Lights album, it starts off with a great song and it ends with a great song. There's nothing bad in between this album. Yes, it may not be country, but it is still considered country. And that's why he made his next album, What Makes You Country, which is also another one. I wish it would have made the list, but it did not. But I want to focus a lot on my top song for this album, which is Huntin', Fishin', Lovin' Every Day, because that is a life theme song right there. I mean, like hunting, fishing.
But since when do you go hunting or fishing?
Or loving.
I mean, I wish I could, but basically, it's a great song that he made there, where like it's just like he picks these 3 things: hunting, fishing, and loving, and he wishes he could do them every single day of his life. Because that's what he loves, and it's just a great song. It's honestly like a life theme song. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Like, it's hard for me to explain this album, but it's just
I don't like Luke Bryan, and I like that song. So
yeah, just personally to me, it's just like I listened to this album so many times. I went to Target at 9 a.m. when they opened the day this album came out to buy it. I remember texting you during this. It was raining outside. I remember this whole thing. And I played it for the next 10 years. It's only been out for like 4, but you know. Anyways, that is my number 3. It's a good album. That's all I really got for that one.
My number 2. This was the hardest decision of my life to try to rank these 1 and 2, but it happened. So my number 2 is Eric Church, Mr. Misunderstood.
Eric Church is number 2?
Number 2.
Holy crap!
Eric Church is number 2. He was sitting at number 1 for a long time, but after today and the research that I did on my number 1 album, it's number 2. So, but we'll get to that. So, Eric Church is, without a doubt, the top musical influence that I have, and that's going to mean more when I'm like a famous performer, but now it doesn't really mean much. But he just does whatever he wants, however he wants to do it. If he wants to make a country song, he'll make a country song. If he wants to make a rock song, he'll make a rock song. If he wants to blend them together and add some blues, that's what he'll do. This album he released it just as a surprise. All the people who were in his fan club just got it in their mailbox one day.
I remember that.
And I just was scrolling through Apple Music, and I was like, what is this? An album, just randomly? Top to bottom, this album is phenomenal. There's only one song that I would skip if it came on like my playlist. But other than that, this album is phenomenal. It's the perfect blend of country and like rock-ish.
Did you say what the album is yet?
Oh, Mr. Misunderstood. I'm sorry.
He did say that. He already said that.
He did?
Okay.
It's
I think his fourth album. It's just great. All the music videos are phenomenal. But my favorite song on this album is the title track, Mr. Misunderstood. First song on the album. Because it's about being misunderstood, but also knowing, you know...
I'm going to send you out of the set if you can't keep kicking the table. Sorry, continue.
It's about, you know, on one hand, yes, I know I am misunderstood. And it's like cognitively knowing, you know, what does it mean to be misunderstood? And if I understand myself, am I truly misunderstood if I understand myself? But on the other hand, it's like... On the other hand, it's become... And he addresses this in the song. It's become cliche to be like, oh, I'm so misunderstood. Like, okay, Kurt Cobain. Like, it's become so cliche, but he wraps it all up in like, you know, whether people like you or they don't like you, if you like you and you understand yourself, whether you have 10,000 fans or 10 million fans or less than 10 fans, just do it.
That makes me want to go listen to the song right now.
Just make it happen.
That reminds me, I need to show you all
the melody is good, the music is good, the story in the song is phenomenal. He references his first girlfriend, whose name was Hannah, in that song. So
wish it was me, so I could have a sugar dad.
It's a great song. But yeah, favorite album of his. Not my personal favorite album of all time, but favorite album of his by far. Fantastic album. Fantastic song, fantastic artist, best country artist in the game. Actually a country artist, unlike your little pop shaking his ass up on stage, Luke Bryan.
Yeah, he does.
Yes, he does, and he looks fantastic doing it.
So, that doesn't matter. Anyway,
yes, it does.
That's my number 2. Again, very hard decision to make that my number 2, but you'll understand why my number 1 is my number 1 when we get to it.
Okay, now we're at number 1. Can we hear
All right, number 2 for me.
God.
I'm going to kick right into this. Post Malone, Hollywood's Bleeding, a very new album, just came out last year, but I think I've listened to this album, actually probably my number 1 album I've listened to the most, but I've listened to this album so many times. I'm in my shower in the morning getting ready listening to this album. I'm in the car listening to getting this album.
Can't confirm. When we were decorating our apartment and we were building furniture and stuff, I cannot tell you how many times that I had to listen to this album on repeat.
This album was on repeat constantly.
While we were building everything that's in here.
Like, I don't know what it is about it, but like, I love Post Malone. Like, his Beer Bongs and Bentleys album was really good. But like, whenever this one came out, it just hit me hard. And there's so many good songs on this album. There's only like 1 or 2 I'd skip, like Dylan said on the other one. But all in all, like, we really listen to every song. Like, it is an amazing album. Top to bottom. Some of the songs, like, I just listen to the songs on repeat constantly. But my number 1 song, and I have somewhat of a backstory to this on why it's my number 1 song, but number 1 song for this one, there's so many good ones, but I'm going to say On the Road, because...
On the road again.
That's why I looked at her.
The backstory to this song is... I don't know how much of a fan you guys are of AWTV or not, but during the 5-minute mile challenge that Hannah was at to help me record and everything, that was like my theme song for that entire 21 days of this challenge. Like, that was honestly one of the hardest things I've ever done. I mean, I don't want to say that too serious, but it was very challenging to me to stick to that game plan and also going dairy free besides pizza like twice a week during that. But I mean, it was very rough. But like this song On the Road, like basically what it says, quickly, like you're on the road. I mean, you're doing these things for yourself, and then like no matter what, or like I'm not okay. Before I say this, I don't want to point this at any specific person. There's nobody that I personally can say this towards, but like you are doing things for yourself. You are making moves in your life. You're doing all these amazing things in your life, and then somebody comes into your life or back into your life and it tries to take all the credit. Like, yeah, I've been here with you through this. I've been with you through that. I helped you do this. I helped you do that. And honestly, no, they didn't, because you were on the road. They were not on the road with you. It was all about what you did in your darkest times, what you did whenever you were feeling down. And honestly, I don't have anyone to point that to, so I don't know why I'm referencing that. But there's like the theme of that song where like you know that you did some amazing stuff, and nobody can take that away from you is basically what it is. And like that just like, I don't know, I just love that song, and like I can just jam to that thing all day. It's just, it's a great song. It's a great song. I recommend listening to it. Post Malone On the Road. It has Meek Mill in it. Check it out. Apple Music. Alright, number one songs. Number one albums.
Hurry up.
Most influential album of your life. Go.
This was a very tough decision. I wanted to put Mr. Misunderstood as number one. When I originally got the idea for this whole video, in my mind, cemented already was Mr. Misunderstood. Until today. My number one album, most influential of my life so far, most influential right now, my favorite band right now,
Okay, sir.
is the 1975.
Oh, there he goes. Sorry to do it.
Best album, by far, of the three that they have released, is their third one. It's called A Brief Inquiry into Online Relationships. The reason why this album is phenomenal,
Whoa.
that's not even the right word. Phenomenal doesn't do it justice. There is, to put it lightly, yes, it's woke. It's woke. Every single song on this album is so like socially conscious, and it tackles so many heavy hitting issues that I feel like a lot of artists are scared to tackle. There's a song about gun violence on this album. There's a song about suicide. There's a song about like online dating apps and why they're stupid. There's a song about like, you know, being young and, you know, all these people trying to tell you how to live your life. There's a song about how when we watch the news, when we get on social media, it's like all this stuff is just coming at us and we can't make sense of it. Every album is so socially conscious, or every song is so socially conscious. It's beautiful. And I literally listened to this album 3 times today. I watched a bunch of videos about like analyzing the lyrics. I watched the videos from their lead singer, Matty Healy. He's beautiful. He's you know, I'm straight, but that man is gorgeous. And he's just so intelligent and so woke, honestly. It's great. And I don't know, just every song on this album is like, it's artistic, but it's like political and it's social and it's just beautiful. Best song on this album, in my opinion, this was also hard for me to pick, but best song on this album is called It's Not Living If It's Not With You. This song is double-sided. This is one of the only songs on the album that when you listen to it, it's like you think it's so straightforward about what he is talking about in this song, and then you watch an analysis of the lyrics done by him and you're like, how the hell did I not understand what the song was about? So this song, if you just listen to it surface level, it's like a love song. You know, I love you so much. My life would not be the same without you. It's not living if it's not with you. I love you, yada, yada, yada. However, this song is about heroin addiction. Because he went, this is going to be another like Mr. Tolley's music class, but lead singer was addicted to heroin for like his entire life until when this album came out. And so he wrote this song about like his life would not be the same if he didn't have this drug. And so he equated that to like being obsessed with the person that you're in love with. And like it goes beyond love. It goes to like obsession. Like my life would not be able to go on if I did not have you. But he's talking about heroin, and he's able to tie that together to like make it mainstream for people, but also like I don't know, it's just beautiful. And that was the song that I was very sloppily playing at the beginning of this video, but I also taught myself that song like today. Once I knew that this was going to be my top album and top song, I was like, I'm going to try to play it. And for only being able to play it for like a couple hours, top album, top band, top song on that album. It's beautiful. Their new album comes out in like 1 month. I'm very excited. Yeah, that's me in a nutshell. Those 5 albums.
All right, my number 1 album. About to get deep in here. It's about to get real deep. All right. This is going to be
Deeper than heroin addiction.
It's gonna be like a personal deepness, kind of. Here's what we got: Luke Bryan, "Crash My Party" album, best album on this earth.
Not best album on this earth.
Best album on this earth.
Not even close.
Why? Because the songs are amazing. His top like 2 songs ever.
Play it again. Like what is that nonsense?
His top songs ever have come
okay.
from this album.
I didn't criticize.
Like play it again. Like play it
You
again.
didn't criticize my
That's
choices.
that
I'm
is
not gonna
such a
criticize.
Play it again is my number 1 song of all time.
A banger.
Why is that? Because Play It Again is his number 1 song. It's of all his songs, and also because I remember every time I take a shower, I would try and sing this song in my head, and I have every single lyric pat down. Every single lyric I have memorized, engraved into my brain, and will never forget every lyric of that song. In the first and third verse, he has the same wording, but in the second verse, he swaps 2 words out. The exact same 2 words, but he swaps them in the second verse. I memorized that because that's how into this song I was. Why is that? Junior year of high school. This girl, my prom date of 2017. Shout out if you know who you are. I'm not going to say your name, but you know
definitely
who you are.
know who you are about my story. So
you know who
but you're not watching this. So unless you are.
So basically,
You think she's watching this, Austin?
No.
probably not. But I don't know. I mean, if it's not like an awkward conversation because basically what I did is I fell really hard for this person, and I don't think that she really felt the same way. All my life, I was never really. I mean, I love songs, like I love listening to songs, whatever. But I was never really into music. This goes back to where I was going at the beginning of the video. I was never really into music that much. Like I never really studied lyrics or anything like that. But whenever I heard, like after this whole thing, it was like summertime. It was summertime, like the heat. I was outside, like it was nice outside. It was summertime. You know, summer is the best time for country music. And I heard this album for the first time. Luke Bryan. Like I was never a fan of Luke Bryan before. But the second I heard this album, I listened to it constantly. It's the only thing I listened to. And I started to love music. Junior high school is whenever we'd take like those piece of paper in class and was like, what's your favorite album? What's your favorite movie, TV show? What's your favorite color? Whatever it might be. Whenever I had a favorite album or a favorite song or whatever, I couldn't answer it. Like I had no answer to that until I found this Luke Bryan album. And honestly, a lot of the songs in this album, after that heartbreak kind of thing, this album really kind of took me out of it and kind of helped me in a way to get through it. I don't know if it sounds cheesy or not, but it did help me get through it, and I dedicate this album to really any girl issues I have on National Women's Day.
Even though it's 12:57, it's not National Women's Day.
It's now 12:57 a.m.
It is National Women's Day every day because we appreciate and support women.
Right.
That's also my number 1 album. That's also pretty much the same. One of the same main reasons why I picked it is because
because of that.
When you're going through stuff, that album is phenomenal.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying earlier about music. You know, I already said what I need to say about that. So.
I'm gonna jump off that where music, like, it can define lives. Like, a song can change your life. A song can change your mood. A song can, like, set an entire scene for an event. A song can your first song, your first dance at your wedding, that song is like, I mean, like, music is powerful.
Mm-hmm.
And like for this album, this song specifically for me, it just did it. That's why that will forever be my number one album. I don't care what album comes out. Like, a lot of albums have come out after that album, and it doesn't matter. That will forever be my number one album because of that. And it really introduced me to the music world and culture. And so, girl I went to prom with junior year of high school, I'm forever grateful that you decided to not
Date me.
Yeah. So that's my album. All right. Woo!
That was a lot of fun.
Let's go. That was pretty.
Now I'm
lit.
gonna go listen to all these albums before I go to bed because they're on my mind.
I think so. Yeah, it's gonna be a good night. So that's our albums. Thank you guys so much for watching the video.
Thank you for listening to us rant about why we love music, because we love music.
And why we love women.
Some of the
And why we love
we love women. Some of the stuff.
And I love you.
I love you. Some of the stuff got really deep.
Yeah,
I just want to thank you guys for sticking around. If you're still here, go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you want to hear more of us. If you want to hear more of us talking like this on a regular basis.
I got a loud mouth. I can talk all day, baby. You let me know.
Thank you for watching. It's been a blast. I'm gonna go listen to some music.
Peace out, guys. Peace. I will see you next time.
Peace.
Go listen to some albums.
You have 10 new albums to go listen to. Go for it.
Hit them up.
Hit them up.
Around the coronavirus, and that's all he was able to make his mask out of.